courageous, creative, ever-changing. Those are just a few words I would use to describe my next guest. He has danced his way around the world, spoken on big stages, and is now creating an empire on Instagram. Welcome to Beyond the Lens and my interview with Zach Benson. So, Zach, tell us. You moved to the United States, you went to school, had a ton of friends, life was easy peasy for you, smooth sailing, right?
Yeah, so I mean, for those of you guys who don't know my story, which probably a lot of you, I was actually born in Korea, right? So, growing up for me was hard because I was adopted, and then I grew up in Iowa, right? So imagine this Korean guy growing up in the middle of Iowa. So, it was just totally opposite like that. I mean, I got teased, made fun of just because the way I looked. And then also I couldn't say the letter R, right? So I had this speech impediment. And I pretty much didn't talk to anybody or like even participated in class until I was in my 20s, like my college years. So I got really bad grades. I was always getting in trouble. My parents thought I was going to be a juvenile delinquent, right? I was getting in fights, throwing pencils at the principal, doing a lot of crazy stuff, just because I didn't fit in. And so, life was hard for me until I found dance, and dance kind of changed my life. But yeah, I mean, growing up for me and elementary, middle school, those were some really tough times.
And so talk to me a little bit about that and tell me about your ADHD and your speech impediment. How did those things really affect you?
Mainly because I just couldn't sit still, right? I was like super hyper, like always moving around, crawling under desks, tying students' shoes to their desks, doing a lot of crazy stuff, causing a lot of hell, I guess, for my teachers. And it was a combination of that, and then also just not being able to do tests very well that I think affected me a lot and hurt me a lot, because I'm like, man, like here's my friends or here these other kids and they're performing so much better than me on these standardized tests and they're getting good grades, and I just couldn't figure out why like I was struggling so much. So I think it affected a lot, just, and also my social life as well. Like I played a lot of computer games and Nintendo growing up, because I didn't have a lot of friends that I could just talk to. So I was a very quiet, shy guy growing up, and people, I guess, would think I was weird because I wouldn't talk, but it was really because I was afraid to be made fun of, right? It was because I was afraid to say something wrong or have sound different, that I didn't talk. And so this whole thing lasted until I was like 21, and I attended a leadership conference, and this girl, she said, everybody sat in a circle and we were all like super vulnerable with each other and just shared our weaknesses and our struggles. And I shared how I was just like, man, if I could say the letter R, then I could do anything in life. I could truly reach my potential. And I always thought that when I was growing up and stuff, but it wasn't until that point when she said, you know what, Zach, like, I can't even tell that you have a speech impediment. Like, just know that what you have to say matters, and that your voices, that your ideas and your voice and your opinions need to be heard.
That's great.
And that just really kind of changed my life, broke down that wall, that barrier that was holding me back. And I started to speak, and I felt this new power that I could, take on the world.
So then how did you find dance and why dance?
Yeah, so I mean, it's still kind of part of the story, but this kid who I grew up with in elementary school, like we're kind of like friends and in some of the similar circles. And you know, he just one day he gifted me this breakdance DVD, How to Breakdance by Mike Garcia, and he's like, you know, it's interesting, Zach, because he's like, you're always like killing it, like you're always like winning the presidential fitness awards, and like, you know, in PE class, I was always getting like breaking school records. So I was very physically gifted and talented. And he's like, you know, you should try this breakdance with me. And you know, I watched the DVD and just fell in love with it. And that's how it all started. And then I started meeting some other kids and from other high schools, and we started a dance crew and did school performances, and you know, eventually started traveling with dance. Went to college and started battling, doing competitions, and you know, eventually made it all the way to So You Think You Can Dance, the TV show. So, and
That's
then
great. So
my career really took off. But you know, dance for me was a way for me to express myself, because at that time in my life, I didn't feel like I could do so with my words, right? I'd speak and I'd get made fun of. But when I danced, I mean, kids thought it was cool. And so it kind of boosted my self-esteem and my confidence, and, you know, helped me make more friends and helped me kind of empower me. So it became something I was really good at. It became like my fire, something that I just loved to do all the time. So even my I would say like my best Christmas gift ever from my parents was a simple piece of linoleum flooring that, like, you know, from my parents, like I could roll out, I could use it on the carpet, I could use it on the streets in the park, and I could just break dance on it. And so I mean, they got it for free, but it was like it was something really special to me, because they could see how much breakdancing meant to me.
so were you really good at it from the start, or did you have to work at it a little bit?
Oh yeah, I had to work at it for sure. Like I'm not just to put it this way, like there's a couple of types of dancers, you know. So some can just be like boom, like follow the instructor, the choreographer, and you know, do everything that they just did like perfectly. I'm more of a freestyler, right? So I'm more of a creator, where I like to make my own moves. I listen to the music and then I just simply react and dance. And so, yeah, so it took me a while to learn some of the basics, but once I mastered the basics, the foundation of breakdance, I started to create my own moves and do animal impersonation. So I have this move called the frog hop, where it's like like hopping like a frog, and that was one of the moves that stood out to the So You Think You Can Dance judges, that helped me get past round 1 and 2 of the whole competition, because they're like, wow, like you entered the floor in a totally different way. Like everybody else just, you know, does a leap or does a flip or walks, you know, dances, but they thought it was really creative. And so I worked on creating moves that showed a lot of personality, a lot of character, while I was dancing. So I think that was fun for them to watch.
Well, before you even got there, I had heard that there was a city to city competition.
Oh yeah.
And tell us about that story and what did that teach you?
So yes, the city versus city for in Chicago, right? So this was when I was in college, and wow, this is cool. It's cool that you heard this story. So um, I had a crew with this was freshman year, and I remember in my one of my college classes, I was telling my professor, I'm going to go to Chicago. Me and my friends were going to drive like 6 hours from Iowa to Chicago to compete in this battle, right? And so it's really a crew battle. So it's a team battle, city versus city. All these different cities came from all over the U.S. But they also had these one-on-one competitions. And so basically there was like 200 dancers. Each person gets about 20 to 30 seconds to dance. And this is just a showcase where you showcase your best moves, right? So this is the qualifying rounds. You're not even actually officially in the competition until you get selected and chosen. So we got there, we drove 6 hours, we got to the competition, we saw all these famous people, all these guys and, you know, girls that we looked up to. And it was cool meeting them in person and seeing them live on stage. And then, you know, the competition started. Everybody went through, you know, a couple hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours in the competition. Like, we're just like, okay, well, when are we gonna get called? Like, you know, like, and they never called our names. And they were like, okay, guys, that wraps up the one-on-one exhibition showcase. Judges are gonna go, you know, see who qualified for the top, you know, 100 or, you know, whatever. And I told my friends, I was like, guys, like, they didn't call our names. And my friend was like, you know, Zach, like, I'm glad they didn't call our names. Like, look at everybody. Like, we would have gotten smoked. Like, we would have, like, made a fool of ourselves. And I was like, I just didn't feel right for me, because I'm like, okay, we're here to do this thing. And we drove all this way and spent all this money. So I just ran out on stage in front of everybody. There's thousands of people. I told the judges, I was like, wait, like, told the organizers, wait, I haven't danced. Like I want to dance. And, you know, they started up the music, and judges asked for my name. They're like, what's your name? I told them, like, my dance name, which is Nesquik, because I drink Nesquik before battles or something, the chocolate drink. And then I got my chance to dance. So there's, you know, all the lights on me, all the cameras, the boom cameras in your face going in and out. Everybody was watching. And yeah, I mean, I heard some claps, I heard some boos, but, you know, in the end, it happened so fast, and it was worth it, right? I was so glad that I put myself out there to do something that I've been training so hard to do. And what was cool was that even these, I'd only been doing it for a couple of years. You know, I was still getting respect and from some of these legends. You know, just that takes courage, but
yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah. And what a great lesson to persevere and to go out and do what you intend to do.
Yeah, that's one of my philosophies in life too. It's like, if you see somebody that you want to talk to, or that you look up to, or that maybe you've read their book, like, reach out to them. Like, you never know, like, what they're gonna say or what's gonna happen. But I just try to do things that I'm scared about and see what happens. And, you know, it's always a learning lesson.
Mm. So how many times did it take you to get on So You Think You Can Dance?
So I auditioned like 3 times. So each season I made it a little bit further and advanced in the competition, all the way to the top 100 in the LA audition. So there's 5 cities, thousands of people each audition. But then I came to a point in that competition where I was about to get on to some more of the episodes. But then one of the executive producers was just like, you know, Zach, like, you just don't have what it takes. And I remember hearing his words, and they really hurt me, and they kind of crushed me inside. But there's a lot of truth in it, right? I was a street dancer. I had not been technically trained. I never took ballet. I never took classical dance partner dances, never. So all this stuff was new to me. So what he was saying is, you know, I need more training, right? But I took it kind of in a hard and a different way. It's like, okay, this is the 3rd season I'm trying out. All right, I'm just gonna try something else, right? But I sticked with dance because the other producer, like the face of the whole show, Nigel Lithgow, was like, you know, Zach, like, don't put your eggs all in one basket. Like, go out and make a name for yourself. Like, you're awesome at breakdance. Like, he's like, you know, your nickname is B-Boy Nesquik. Like, why don't you contact Nestle, see if you can do a collaboration with them? And so I took his words to heart. And so I listened to the no's, but I also listened to, I listened to both of them, and I didn't give up. And I contacted Nestle. I got sponsored by them for a year. I made a video, a commercial for them. And my dance career really took off. And thanks to that show and that guy's words, both of their words, you know, I was able to make over a six-figure income just teaching dance. Like, and, you know, finally cracking the code after all these years to figure out a way to do what I love all around the world, right? Because dancing and teaching, they're my passions. And so it was really cool how it worked out. But
And, you know, I think too, people get so stung at first sometimes when we get criticism, but we also have to evaluate the criticism and realize, is there truth to it? And also, is somebody saying something with our interest in mind to make us better?
yes, yes. Because we all have blind spots, right? So sometimes it takes people that we know or that love us, know us, or even people that we don't know, strangers that can point these out to us. And, you know, when you get enough people telling you like the same thing, then you know it's like, okay, you need to work on this or change something.
So do you think that hearing no in life can be a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, well, everybody likes to get what they want, right? I mean, you know, it's nice. Like, you know, W Hotel, they have the motto, whatever, whenever, right? Whatever you want, whenever you want. I mean, we all like to be treated like a king and queen and have people serve us and say yes to us, right? Or agree with us. But I feel like the more times that you hear no's, I mean, that's somebody who's challenging you, right? Somebody questioning what you have to say. And I think the more times you hear no's, the closer you'll be to achieving something really great and really having true success in whatever you're trying to do and pursue.
So tell us some of the places dance has taken you.
Oh, wow. Well, all over the world like 50 different countries now. I've been to like Cambodia. I taught dance in, you know, orphanages, schools, spoken like Spanish. So I speak Spanish. So I did a workshop in a elementary school in front of like 200 kids and shared my story there. I've been to Morocco, danced on this sand and, you know, in the desert and the mud and grass. And yeah, I mean, and also some really cool places as well. Like I was able to teach the national dance competition, like the official one, like for dancers in Grapevine, Texas, at the Gaylord Hotel, in front of like, yeah, like 1,000 dancers, or I think there's like 800 dancers.
Wow.
So it's been really fun. And then, you know, my dance career took a twist and a turn when I hurt my back in India, right? So I was teaching at a salsa conference, did a performance, hurt my back, and was never able to dance again. So it was fun while it lasted, and it's something that's still pretty, you know, dear to me. Like I still love to do it when I can, but I can't do those fun, spinny, crazy flips and head spins anymore. But you know, everything happens for a reason, and so that injury happened for a reason, because I remember my financial advisor telling me, he was like, okay, Zach, what happens if you can't use your hands, your feet? What are you going to do? Do you have a backup plan? Like, and I was like really in good shape, top shape. I'd never been injured before. And I was like, man, I'm never going to, this is never going to happen. Like, I'm in great shape. I'm going to be able to do this forever. And so I just remember, like, when I had to have surgery, I remembered those words from the financial advisor, like, okay, you have to have a plan B. And so with no plan B, I became depressed. I became lost. And I didn't know what I was going to do, because I had went to school, graduated, got my bachelor's degree in like sports nutrition and Spanish. got my personal training certificate, but then I let it expire. And so I couldn't be a personal trainer without doing the test again. And so I was at these crossroads and I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. So what happened, long story short, the same guy who got me into dancing called me up and was like, you know, Zach, I know you're going through some hard times. I know you're depressed, but listen, I got another really cool opportunity for you. Me and my brother were making a lot of money, helping a lot of people on Instagram. Like you gotta get in on this. And so with my last bit of money, I invested in an Instagram account, and we started using that account to grow other people's accounts, right? So we shouted them out. We said, hey, follow so and so, and we posted it on our Instagram page, and it got these people thousands of followers per day. And you know, we just rinsed and repeated the process and started buying and acquiring more pages and more accounts. And you know, fast forward today, we have a huge empire, right? Working with a lot of the top brands.
And if people don't know what that company is, it's called a Systogram, correct?
Yes. My company is called a Systogram, and you know, we're working. I really like hospitality, like service and niche, because I think life is all about people, and it's about how you treat people, how you serve people, and how you give people incredible experiences. And so, I mean, yeah, we're doing some amazing things now. We're working with the Ritz-Carlton, so creating a lot of content for all of their resorts around the world, and also helping a lot of the top internet marketers grow their personal brands on Instagram. So it's fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
You know, I also see too that you did a TEDx talk, and which is not bad for a guy that had a speech impediment and didn't say a whole lot to begin with.
Yeah. You know how that came about really was I was so after college I did a few things, right? So I lived on $2 a day for food for a year.
Was that on purpose or by accident?
I did this. I performed a year of service with this nonprofit urban ministry program called Mission Year. So I read this book by this guy named Shane Claiborne. He worked with Mother Teresa, and it inspired me, right? I brought him to my college. He spoke, and then I was like, how do I do what you've done? And he told me about this program. And so I basically helped refugees find jobs and homes for a year, and then lived on less so the others around me could have more. So we had neighborhood outreach. We had community meals with our neighbors from over 50 different countries, from all of these war-torn countries. And you know, it was amazing, right? I definitely learned a lot. But yeah, so I made this 5-year plan. So that was year one. Year two, I went back to Korea, found my birth mom, which was amazing and something I always wanted to do. And then I moved back, became a personal trainer. My parents were like, when are you going to use your college major? Like, when are you going to do something with it? So I did that. Then I quit, pursued dance, and then dance took me to Korea, where we're talking now. And I became a residential advisor at this Christian international school in Korea for a few reasons, right? I wanted to learn more about my culture, learn more about the language, you know, and build a genuine relationship with my birth mom. And so while there, I help kids, but then at the same time as I was still pursuing my dance, I was doing 3 things: the Korea culture thing, language thing, my mom, still dancing a lot, training a lot. And then on the side, I was growing a Systogram, my company. So, you know,
I'm assuming that you slept somewhere in there.
Yeah. We had pretty crazy hours. So what happened was, in the mornings I would wake up, I'd work out, I'd go to Korean classes from 9 to 1 p.m. and then I'd have a break, I'd read some books, and then I'd have to work in the dormitory after the kids got back from school. So I'd work from like 3:30 to 11 p.m. at night. And then, during my off hours, I was building a Systogram, and also on the weekends. So I was, building out the business model, the teams, the everything, during my 3 years that I was there. So, taking on clients, doing some side hustle work until eventually that side hustle overtook my full-time job. And then I was like, okay, I can really go for it, and could go for it full time.
And tell everybody a little bit more about how a cystogram works.
Yeah, so I always tell people, like, think of a cystogram as like your own personal virtual assistant, right? Somebody who's creating content for you, posting for you, finding the optimized hashtags for your account, doing the engagement groups, the outreach, interacting with your new fans and followers on a daily basis, and growing your account, several thousand followers per month. And it's just a whole lot of human power that's working on your Instagram account 7 days a week. So it's a hands-off experience. No robots, no bots. It's just real people working on your account every day. And that's what grows it. When you have the right content and the right distribution network, and you put them together, that's what leads to some really good growth.
And I think that is a really important point, is that it's not a bunch of robots.
Yeah, not at all. It's like, we don't use automation to grow accounts. We don't use robots to follow people's accounts. It's just, think of it as like, okay, if you're maybe a podcaster, or you're an author, or you're like someone who's like talking a lot about entrepreneurship and startups and motivation, you would probably want to have other people that are in that space like following you. So what we do is we basically pair up our clients with other big, for example, motivational pages or inspirational quote pages, or other influencers that are posting similar types of content as you. And we get a whole army of these people to shout out your account throughout the month, right? So it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like a Kylie Jenner or a Kim Kardashian campaign where they say, hey, follow this person to win all of these bags in my picture, right?
Right.
You don't get 100,000 followers overnight. It's a slow and steady approach. And that's how we grow accounts.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So tell me, what did your dream look like before, and what does it look like now?
My dream was to really be, going back to the TEDx story, right? So when my dream was to always speak on stages, right? I was like, even when I was like growing up, I always felt like, yeah, something's holding me back, man. But if I could say the letter R, then I could speak on stages, I could fly on planes, I could do business and help people all around the world. I could have these one-on-one conversations with these people that maybe see this video or this podcast or whatever of mine. And, we could create a new friendship or business partnership. And so that's always been a dream of mine, is just, traveling, teaching. Those are my two biggest passions in life. And, to me, it's like everybody has something special inside. Everybody is important as a human being. And that's the reason why I travel so much, is because I can meet these people from all these different cultures and all of these different backgrounds that, go to these events that I speak at or I attend. And, it's just so interesting to me. So, doing that TEDx talk was definitely a dream of mine. Not only because I had a speech impediment, I was like, okay, I'm going to like actually put myself out there and do a TEDx talk. And how it happened really was just, I was a RA, right? I was a residential assistant helping some kids out. And one of my dance students was just like, man, I have this dream of like hosting the first TEDx in Korea. And I'm like, dude, like, do it. Like, make it happen. And like, you know, he made it happen. And, you know, it took him a few years, but he was the first person that he called. And he was like, man, I want you to be like keynote speaker for TEDx in Daejeon, South Korea. And, you know, that's how that came about. So, and that was a dream come true. And finding my birth mom was a dream. Making dance a full-time career. You know, scaling my agency. Like, I would say now, my next dream is, I guess to reach more people, right? So that's through my products, my books, my seminars, coaching programs. Um, yeah. So, I mean, if I can help somebody, then cool, right? And they're probably going to help me out a lot too. So it's going to be a win-win.
Great. One last question before we wrap up.
Yeah.
If you had 5 minutes to go back and talk to the guy that started this journey, knowing what you know now, what would you tell him?
I just say that, you know, entrepreneurship is a lonely road, right? It can be hard. You can hear no's, you can hear haters and people that try to bring you down. But know that like it's all worth it in the end, right? And to continue to just put your head down, plug away, work hard, seek advice from those who've been there, who've done that. Go back to the laboratory, work on your craft even harder, and yeah, just continue to seek out mentors. Stay humble, stay hungry, keep learning every single day, keep reading books, and you know, eventually one day you'll look up and you'll be like, wow, like, you know, I made it. So that's the advice that I would tell my younger self. Is really just to keep a growth mindset, right?
Well, thank you so very much. That was perfect. And
Yeah.
it was a pleasure speaking to you. Thanks so much for taking out the time.
Thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun. I felt very comfortable, and this was good.
My job as a photographer is to see things in a different way, to create reactions, to frame what is seen so we can better understand. Here we take a look beyond the lens of what we may think we see or know about people, events, and situations. To subscribe, please join my mailing list, visit my YouTube channel, or look for Beyond the Lens on Spotify, Stitcher, and Apple. I'm honored by the people I work with. If you'd like to talk about shaping the way you are seen in photographs, please schedule a call. I'd love to hear from you.